Tap brothers and sisters, Black Power. Giving on to the Creator, the ancestors, my sister, Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul, my father, my in-laws, all my subscribers, and all of the ancestors all over that are fighting for the liberation and salvation of our black nation. Today, I'm just going to freelance and just discuss a few different things. First of all, I want to discuss the mask, taking the mask off. You know, a lot of us wear a mask. Some of us wear several different masks. A mask, according to Webster's Dictionary, Collegiate Dictionary, is, you know, something to conceal as a disguise over your face. And the different masks that people wear, and I'm talking about the black community in general, our people, because we are the people that need the most healing before we can be able to move to any other level. We have to do self-healing first, and then we have to eliminate those who have been paid, who have been sent, and who have dedicated their lives in exchange for wealth and fame to keep the masses of us in a subordinate and oppressed condition and situation. But the mask that a lot of us wear, you know, to pretend you want someone to look at you in a different way opposed to who you really are. And in turn, you never get to live out your life as being you, because you want to be something else. You want to be somebody else. You want to imitate something or somebody else. And a lot of us do not have leadership. A lot of us are not leaders. A lot of us are not leaders in our own right of our own lives. I see a lot of brothers walking around projecting an image that they are so tough, that they can handle anything, that they have complete and total structure and control over their lives. And those are the ones that don't have the slightest clue on how to live at all. And you want someone to think that you are that person. And so it's time for the mask to come off. Don't be afraid to be who you are. Don't be afraid to be yourself. You were created by the Creator, Creatress, to be who you are. And learn to adjust and live in the skin that you're in. Because see, I see a lot of people walking around projecting this image. You know, even in the church, you have a lot of gay pastors that haven't come out of the closet yet, that are hiding behind the mask of religion. You have a lot of people that hide behind the mask of a job. You have a lot of people hiding behind the mask under alcohol and drugs. You have a lot of people hiding behind the mask of food. You have a lot of people hiding behind the mask of sex. And with all of those issues come lies, deceit, self-deceit, self-deception, abnormal behavior, abnormal thinking. You begin to, all your thinking and all your actions begin to be warped and fucked up because you actually think. And the sick part is that other people can see that you have a mask on. Now, when you go, just for example, Halloween, that nasty ass ritual. When you see people having Halloween costumes on, most of them have a mask on. Because they don't want you to see who they really are. And some of them know that you know who they are, but they just like to wear that mask. And that's just how human behavior is. And so the mask has to come down. These false images, self-rejection, people-pleasing, all of this shit has to come to an abrupt end in order for you to begin the process of living comfortably in the skin that you're in. And see, just like you all know, my videos are basically dealing with racism, white supremacy, all of the sellout niggas and the bootlickers and all these bougie ass niggas and jigaboo motherfucking niggas. But before we're able to deal with them, we have to deal with ourselves first so we can be able to be 100% clear on who we are and what our missions are so that the mission can be carried out properly. Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, for example, they got direction from the universe, from the planet. They got directions on the moon. They got directions from the moon. They got directions from the North Star. Nat Turner got directions from the Bible. So they had to be totally clear on who they were in order for them to carry out the missions and the missions to be successful. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. You know, and if you don't, I can go and break it down in layman's terms of how fucked up some of you all are, particularly to your own family members. You know, a lot of you fuck over your family because you think that you know that family will be the last one to actually put a knife in your ass or knock your fucking teeth out or put a hot ball in your ass. Most families won't do that. Some families will. And a lot of you fuck over your families because you know you can get away with it. But you will not do that to someone on the outside. Someone on the outside will peel your fucking head. And you know this. And by you being afraid of the motherfuckers on the outside, you take it out on your family. You take it out and become a living room gangster. You know, particularly you young men, you know, that buck on your mothers and you buck on family members inside. And not just the young men, the males, period. You know, you want to wear a mask. You want people to perceive you as someone that's been hard, someone that put in work in the streets, someone that doesn't take any shit off nobody. But that's just a mask. You're totally the fucking opposite, but you are afraid to be humble, the humble, little scared little child that you really are. You are afraid because you feel that you may be run over and taken advantage of. But that's only in your mind. That's what you perceive. And I know a lot of adults that do that. You know, they if you let them tell it, they've never harmed anybody. They've always done the right thing. They are the victim in every situation. They know every motherfucking thing. You can't tell them nothing. And they've put in so much work in the streets. And they've laid a lick down and all this type of shit. But when you take the mask off, you find out that no one knows them on the streets. No one knows who they are. They've never put in any work. How could you have put in work and you've worked for the cracker all your motherfucking life? You've never been incarcerated. You've never done any time. The only people that you've hit is women. The only people you have harmed is family members. You are a detriment to every relationship that you encounter because you want to control every relationship. You want to control people. And so it results in you having 40 and 50 different relationships. And see, the mask has to come off. See, that's the denial part. And see, and then it's the opposite. That a lot of you play like you have never done anything wrong when you've done everything wrong. Because you'll understand one day how beneficial it is. What's wrong with being a good guy? What's wrong with being a nice gentleman? What's wrong with being a good father, a good brother, a good son? Without pretending, without have to put on a mask everywhere you go. And the fucked up part about it is that when you're out in society, the people that have been out there in the streets that put in lick, they know that you have a mask on. But they just don't have the time to fuck with you, and they just want to give you respect because they, for real, they could pull the mask off. So, is that mask worth wearing, or is it worth taking off and begin to develop the process of developing a relationship with yourself and learning to love who you are, learning to be blessed to have been given the skin that you're in? See, we don't talk about these things because it's more convenient to talk about something else or somebody else other than who you are. And as you know, in my beginning videos, I've always talked about myself, what I've been through, who I pretended to be, what I thought was acceptable, doing things that I thought that would get me respect. And all those things were illusions. And it caused me a lot of pain and suffering in my life. And I've always, and I will continue to talk about those things because they are a reminder. Of course, I would love to have had or tell you all that life was very good for me, that I achieved every mission that I've went out on, that I've always been a good guy. I would love to tell you all that, but I'll be wearing a mask. That's putting on a mask. And so none of these things are worth it, because you only go around once, and you never know when your day is coming. See, a lot of you all are under the impression that the air that you breathe is just your air. That each breath that you take is given to you. It is a gift. And if you don't believe that, ask someone who doesn't have a breath in their body. Because One of the reasons why we can never move on, we can never move forward as a unit, because of these different issues and situations that we are in, that we continue to try to mask. Because if we can completely peel ourselves of the bullshit, then we can move to the next level. We can begin to unite as a people. 1 and 2 generations ago, things weren't like that. Our parents and grandparents, they were who they were, without doubt or contradiction. Like the term said, it is what it is. That's how they carried it. And they were able to unite. They were able to work together. They were able to coexist. They were able to build communities together. And they were able to bond together. And in turn, they saw no one go without anything. No child went undisciplined. No child went hungry. No family went into poverty without assistance from the community, because there was nothing to hide. And see, today, our people wear masks. When your electric is cut off, you don't want to let nobody know. You put on the mask like you still have lights. You put on the mask like everything is okay when it's not. And see, we rid ourselves of this disillusion, this false pride. And not only can we move forward, but we can get help from one another. Because believe it or not, we're all in the same condition. Whether you have a prestigious job, whether you have a nice home, whether you have a nice car, whether you have a good law-abiding children, a good law-abiding family, you are in the same condition and situation as the person that's unemployed, as the person that lives in a shelter, as the person that never had a vehicle or never been a parent, a good parent. You are in the same condition and situation because we are all the same people. And the reason why we do not get the help that we are supposed to receive, because black people, we think we want to give the impression that we're not poor. But every other race, they're poor, will say that they're poor. And they show that they're poor and they get help. But by us having this false illusion to make it appear that we're not living below the poverty level, that everything is okay, that we don't need any help, so in turn we don't receive help, when in all actuality we need more help than everybody. Just like let's talk about these gay preachers and people in the congregation that hide behind a robe, an instrument, a choir robe, pastors that are gay. You stand before the pulpit and you talk about what's an abomination and what's right and what's wrong, and counsel people and help people and preach to people every Sunday and tell them that they are sinners, that they need to be cleansed, that they need to come forward in order to receive blessings from the Almighty. But yet, you're not clean. You're dirty. You're living an abnormal deformed life. And I don't care what anyone says about homosexuality and all this LGBT shit. You know, that shit is a fucking disorder. Now, most people have been victims of sexual abuse. I understand that. You know, but nevertheless, it's still a choice. Because we all know right from wrong. And you cannot, and what the people in the pulpit use as a justification is that no sin is greater than this sin, and all, you know, we say that out our mouths, but we don't practice that. We do not practice that. So if being gay or being a homosexual is no greater sin than stealing a candy bar, so killing somebody, killing a child, or killing someone is no greater than stealing a candy bar. Is that what you're saying? Which is total bullshit. So I don't buy that. I don't buy that shit. To me, man and woman, and we know this, we keep pretending that and making lies and justifications that it's not about man and woman when it is. That's the beginning of creation. That's the only way that you can create and recreate. It's with a man and woman. Two women cannot make a baby. Two men cannot make a baby. So that is not natural. So let's move on to the situations dealing with these fake gangsters who are influenced by the movies, by the music and the movies, the TV shows, Power, Empire, Chief Keef, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, all of that bullshit, 2 Chainz, 50 Cent, all of that motherfucking filth that they are paid by the white so-called Jew who runs the music industry, pays these people, pays these niggas to pump that filth. You don't never sit down and question why isn't it a song or by any of the rappers about staying in school, getting a good education, graduating from college, being a good brother, being a good son, being respectful to your parents. You don't hear none of that shit on the airways. And so you cannot tell me that there is no racism in this country, on this planet. Because it is. It is the system is designed to annihilate all black males on the planet. And the only ones that they're after are all heterosexual alpha males. Because they have the power of reproducing. That's why the gay men, the gay black men, have the most prestigious jobs. Because they are no threat. They are no threat to the corporation. They will stay in their place. They will act like a woman. They will act like a woman. Stay in their place. When the happy hour comes, when the whites make all these jokes, these corporate crackers, when they make these nigger jokes, the black gay man laughs along right with them. He won't make any noise about a raise, about a promotion or anything. So in turn for being a good nigga, a good little black faggot nigga, you get rewarded. Tyler Perry is heavily rewarded by the white so-called Jew of the entertainment industry because he pumps a lot of effeminized male energy in his movies, in his TV shows. Have and have-nots. All the Medea movies where he dresses up as a woman. He is rewarded heavily for that. And what does he do? Tyler Perry, who is homosexual, lays hands on T.D. Jakes. Lays hands on T.D. Jakes. Now, this homosexual lays hands on a so-called powerful man of God and makes him fall down with the so-called Holy Ghost. Now, what energy is Tyler Perry functioning from, and what power that was passed on to him to T.D. Jakes? But see, this is what our people would do for money. If he will allow Tyler Perry to lay hands on his forehead in public, he will allow $4 million. He will allow him to lay hands on his ass for the same million in private. And see, some of us, a lot of you all are hypnotized and under the influence of these people that you see on television and in the movies. That because they wear masks. Most of them are gay. Most of the men, the macho men, the ones that play these roles of being killers and these big time drug dealers and these kingpins, most of them wear a mask because they fit the profile. They lift weights, they tone their body up to appear to be a thug, but in all actuality they are homosexual. See, that's the illusion of this shit. When you see someone that appears to be a thug, you take them as being a thug, but the whole time under the mask they are homosexual. Same with the women. Same with the women. You know, Beyonce, you know, is the same way. Dealing with an abundance of self-hatred. You want to look like a white woman. You've gotten your skin bleached to want to appear to be a white woman. And you do everything that a white woman does. All the nasty shit behind the scenes. Because she's been with several women. She's been with several old white men as well. And see, people call them a power couple because see, Jay-Z knows about that too because he's been with men. And their marriage is not a marriage, it's a business arrangement for them to accumulate together as much wealth as possible. And so, the same with 50 Cent and all these other, Snoop Dogg, the same way. What man that's supposed to be a member of the Crip gang gets his toenails and fingernails French tips and wears a purse and a perm in his head? Think about it. Snoop Dogg is the same way. His asshole has been ripped open in order for him to have his own TV show now. Remember, he was one of the most, America's Most Wanted at one time. And once Tupac and Biggie were murdered, a lot of the masks came off. A lot of the behaviors began to surface. All the feminine energy began to surface in Snoop Dogg. And in turn, they give him TV shows. He runs a game show, The Joker's Wild. Now, what gangbang member of the Crips do you know has a TV game show that is watched by millions of people, white and black? That's the illusion. That's the mask. And that's just one example. Same way with Michael Jordan. He has the features of a heavily melanated black male, strong alpha male. But under the mask, he's a house nigga. He's a fiery-eyed, red-eyed, alcoholic, gambleholic, house nigga, field ape that loves white people to the point where he paid his wife $300 million to get away from her to be with white people, to suck on a white bitch's ass. $300 million. But you haven't done nothing for your family. Nowhere near nothing like that for your family and for the community who supported you. I could go on and on and on with these house niggas, but nevertheless, back to what I was saying about the mask and the faking. Be yourself, people. Stop being something that you're not. Be who you are. Learn to be comfortable in the skin you're in. Stop taking advantage of your own family. Because you don't do that in the street. That's an indication that you are a punk motherfucker, male or female. If you're not going to do it in the street, don't do it at home. And see, another thing that I'm going to close with this, because I'm going to have to continue this. How black males have become so sensitive to the point where you can't tell a brother anything. No constructive criticism. They get in their feelings like a woman. They act just like a female. And that's because a lot of times brothers like that have always been under a female. They never been in situations where their manhood was challenged, where they had to stand up and defend, and not only just defend, but be responsible and take care of themselves and look out for themselves. They've never been in that situation. So when something is told to them, they run to mommy and crying with their tail under the leg, between their legs, running, crying because someone said something to them that hurt their little feelings. The same way with the women, the females, I mean. Because a lot of you females are not women. And a lot of things that needs to be changed. You have to do the changing on yourself. First of all, you know, the black community has to become drug free. Have to become drug free. The one thing about drugs and alcohol, it makes you very, very trifling and petty. You come into it. That's why they call alcohol a spirit. Because that spirit creates a whole different mindset for you. And you become the opposite of who you are supposed to be. So we're going to you know, I don't have enough time right now to go in depth on that particular subject. But on my next video, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to just dropping freelancing my information to y'all, dropping jewels, and sitting at the round table once again. where we can all build, because you all tell me that you like it better when we sit at the round table and discuss our issues and come up with some solutions for the things that plague us in the black community. So, until we meet again, brothers and sisters, Hotep, Black Power.